There was once a shoemaker who had become so poor that at last he had only enough leather left to make one pair of shoes. In the evening, he cut out the leather, intending to sew the shoes the next morning. His conscience was clear, and he trusted in God, so he went peacefully to bed. The next morning, after saying his prayers, he went to his workbench. To his great surprise, he found the pair of shoes already made. They were so beautifully crafted that he could hardly believe his eyes. Every stitch was perfect, and the shoes looked better than anything he had ever made. Soon a customer came into the shop. He admired the shoes so much that he gladly paid more than the usual price for them. With the money, the shoemaker was able to buy enough leather for 2 pairs of shoes. That evening, he carefully cut out the leather for the 2 pairs and left it on the workbench. The next morning, once again, both pairs were perfectly finished. They were even finer than the first. The shoemaker sold them quickly and earned enough money to buy leather for 4 pairs. Every night he prepared the leather, and every morning he found the shoes completed. His business flourished. Before long, he was no longer poor and had become a prosperous man. One evening, just before Christmas, the shoemaker's wife said, "My dear husband, let us stay awake tonight and discover who is helping us." The shoemaker agreed. They hid behind a curtain near the workshop and waited. At midnight, 2 tiny little elves came into the room. They were completely naked but cheerful and full of energy. They jumped onto the workbench and began working. Their tiny fingers moved so swiftly that the shoemaker could scarcely follow them. They stitched, hammered, polished, and finished every shoe with perfect skill. As soon as they were done, they danced happily away. The next morning, the shoemaker's wife said, "The little elves have made us rich. We ought to show them our gratitude. They work so hard and have no clothes to keep them warm." The shoemaker agreed. His wife sewed each elf a tiny shirt, coat, trousers, stockings, and cap. The shoemaker made each of them a pair of little shoes. On Christmas Eve, instead of leaving leather on the workbench, they laid out the tiny clothes and shoes. At midnight, the 2 elves returned. Expecting work, they found the gifts instead. Delighted, they dressed themselves in the new clothes. They laughed with joy, sang, and danced around the workshop. One of them exclaimed, "Now we are fine gentlemen indeed." They skipped happily out the door and were never seen again. Although the elves never returned, the shoemaker's business continued to prosper. He and his wife never forgot the kindness of the little helpers, and they lived happily for the rest of their days.